Hey fellow comrades, how you guys been doing? Welcome back to round 4. We're gonna go against Frido, team coach of team the Welsheons, and this guy is a very dangerous opponent. His team is very dangerous. He's the actual opposite when it comes down to speed, and I'm gonna need to think about this. I'm gonna try to be as detailed as possible so you guys got the idea of where my thinking is going, you know, what I'm kind of preparing myself for, and just generally just through you guys the ideas out there, you know, just try to be a little bit creative, maybe a little bit more than I was before, because I was kind of like, you guys will see what kind of ideas I got. Whether or not this will work is only a question that will be explained in the upcoming battle that should be uploaded, you know, on the Friday. But anyways, Frido, coach representing, of course, team the Welsheons. This guy is scary. He's got Sylveon, which is an incredible wall breaker. If he's got specs on that, if he's got Calm Mind, he's even more scary because Calm Minding Pokemon are generally frightening to dealt with, especially when you got drafted Pokemon, you know, kind of limited. Because you each other know what they're gonna bring, and this is definitely something that I should keep in mind. Spec Sylveon, definitely something I don't want to face, and the same can be said about the Calm Minding one. Infernape. Infernape is fast. It's got diversity. It can go physical, special. It can go mix. Mix is the one that I'm truly scared of. It can go Life Orb, which I'm kind of guessing he's gonna bring, just in case I got Stealth Rocks, and he's not gonna bother using a Sash one. I don't feel that's gonna be it. Now, Celebi, I think he's definitely gonna bring, just in case I bring in a Gastrodon. And well, you know, Gastrodon is something about Gastrodon that I don't want to use in this battle, just because he's got way too many special attackers, and I'm gonna go into that a little bit later. Crobat, my god, am I scared of Crobat? I am. In case he thinks I'm gonna use Electros, he may not use him, but at the same time, Crobat is so damn powerful with Choice Band. It's not funny. And Dragalge, you know, nothing on my team wants to take a Choice Band Crobat in general flying type moves, so I'm gonna need to struggle. Outside of me using a Piloswine, that could be the best option. He may think I will use a Piloswine, but then again, like I mentioned, Infernape, Sylveon, too many special attackers. I feel like Crocodile does have the speed, and I'm gonna try to play a little bit creative with him to try to give my opponent, you know, overthinking things, and you know, kind of take them by guard. Basically, we're gonna go into that a little bit later, but right now we're going through his team, explaining which Pokemon I think he's gonna use. Empoleon, I'm debating whether or not he's gonna use Lanturn or Empoleon. While he is a big fan of Empoleon, generally Empoleon is a higher tier Pokemon, and it's got incredible special attack. There's something about Lanturn that I may think he may use him, and the reason is, well, it's Lanturn. It can probably take on Dragalge as much as it can, you know. Dragalge can run T-Bolt, and it can run Earth Power, but I'm going with T-Bolt. I'm not gonna go for the Focus Blast anymore. I've been missing, and it's been costing me to a certain degree. Not sure how much, but still it's been costing me. I'm not relying on that move anymore, plus it's probably a free shot with Modest Nature on the Empoleon, while it doesn't do anything against Lanturn. Here's the difference, you know, you got incredible ability on Lanturn, which makes it truly immune to the likes of Electric, plus things like Scizor, you know, you can superpower the Empoleon while you cannot really do much against Lanturn. Like Bug Bite is probably the best you can do, and that does, like, I would guess right now on top of my head, probably like 40%, depending on the EV spread. And that isn't all that much, you know. You don't want to be risking Scald and Hidden Power Fire. Potentially you can even run like an Assault Vest Lanturn. Who knows? I believe the Lanturn does possess some decent speed to probably outspeed my very slow Pokemon, so I cannot be speed creeping with them to outspeed a Lanturn, so that's definitely not going to work out. Now, I feel it's a big. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if he's gonna use a Lanturn, because again, it's a very low tier Pokemon. He may just consider just Empoleon for them Stealth Rocks. Now, if he uses a Lanturn, he cannot use Infernape. Well, he will need to be forced to use Infernape with Stealth Rocks. He needs a Stealth Rocker up his sleeves. If he's gonna use Crobat, I don't think Defog is going to be an option there, because I got Dragonite, which I put outside of the bench and replace it with Amoonguss. Now I may actually think, why Amoonguss? I mean, Amoonguss is incredible, but look at his team right now. You know, Sylveon probably two-shots it if it specs. Infernape, I cannot handle that. Ice Beam, Empoleon, I'm like, what can Amoonguss do against an Empoleon, especially if it's special defense? I can Spore it, but then he's got Celebi with Sahik. It's not going to work out. His whole team Crobat, Fire, Zork, Gengar, well, Gengar, I guess, but it resists both my stabs, it can sub away on my Spore, ridiculous. Lantern is probably like the best thing Amoonguss could have worked against, but again, if he doesn't use a Lantern being low tier Pokemon, I'm thinking, again, it kind of screws him using Stealth Rocks after that, you know, he's got only one more Pokemon that can put up the rocks, so that kind of limits his infinite offensive pressure, and I don't know, you know, at least on the coverage wise. Plus, I kind of think he may be fearing the Gastrodon, but then again, looking at his team, I don't think Gastrodon will do me any better than Amoonguss. And the reason I'm saying this is, the reason I put Amoonguss in there is just because there's just too much strength going on behind his team. Mega Manectric, I mean, I could use Assault Vest, take a move or two, but then I would be forced to be fully offensive, and I just don't got the speed, while he possesses all the speed in the world. I'm also very glad that Crawdaunt has been replaced with Zoroark. Basically, Crawdaunt is such a threat with Dragon Dance. It also has incredible special attack, so I would be very scared of one. You know, facing one, maybe he thought, this kind of got me the idea, if he replace, you know, Zoroark and just put it inside the draft while putting Crawdaunt into the bench, I believe that he may just expect Gastrodon, because Crawdaunt does, you know, Crawdaunt does have that crunch. Defensive Gastrodon can like take one. But again, it's like, you know, I got the Storm Drain to take on water type moves and so forth. Still, I don't like using Gastrodon in this battle because we got a couple of things. Sylveon, it two shots a Gastrodon. That Pixelate is way too strong. Sylveon is an incredibly powerful Pokemon. Infernape can run Grass Knot, I believe, or just Hidden Power Grass if it doesn't possess Grass Knot. I'm pretty sure Infernape can two shot a Gastrodon. Normally speaking, it's quite a powerful Pokemon with Life Orb. Let's be serious here. Empoleon, I believe, can also run Grass type related move of some sort, which Gastrodon would be sort of useless. Plus Earthquake, I feel it can be a two-shot, but Earth Power will probably fail two-shotting it if it's a special defensive one. While special defensive would have lacked special attack, it's still a 4-time weakness that I possess. Don't want to be running that. Celebi again, and this is the main reason I'm not going to use Gastrodon. I know fully well he must use Celebi and Sylveon, because there is some sort of good core behind them. You know, well, not really good core if you don't include Empoleon or Crobat, because Empoleon does possess that steel, and it means that, you know, basically you got that resistance towards, for one, steel that Sylveon is weak to, and next is basically Buck, which also Celebi is weak to. So there is some sort of coverage, but then Lantern is here where coverage even extends. You know, in exchange, Sylveon, Empoleon, and Celebi are all semi-weak to Choice Banded Arcanine, while Lantern, instead of that steel type Empoleon, would mean it will resist. While it wouldn't take a close combat on the prediction, that core, Lantern, Celebi, and Sylveon, tends to be a little bit more threatening towards my team than Sylveon, Empoleon, Celebi. Just because Choice Banded Arcanine can pull through with a little predictions. It requires predictions, there is no question about it. Sylveon can probably take a Choice Banded Flare Blitz if it's running full investment, probably without even defensive investment, just HP, that's all it needs. It's got so much bulk, it's incredible. You gotta understand, this thing takes 2 returns from the likes of Mega Lopunny, and I'm pretty sure that's not even max defensive, which is insane. So I kept that one in mind when faced, you know, when he was facing Awesome. Definitely, you know, I've been looking at his battles a little bit, looking at his plays, trying to get a little bit into his mindset of how he plays and how he's gonna take me as an opponent. How I will think my battles through and try to take that into my advantage, you know. So I'm thinking he may think Gastrodon, but my plan is not to use Gastrodon because, again, like I said, Gastrodon, there's just Zoroark also, it can run a grass type move, everything can be outside of Lantern, and that is Explout also. Explout is such a threat with Scarf, especially if I don't have the speed, that I definitely need to watch out. Now, Mega Manectric is a Pokemon that I aren't as scared as I should be, and there is a reason why. I will use Dragalge. There's no question about it. If he loses Lantern, Dragalge walls it. Scald Burn is like the best it can do, and I can be even immune to likes of Toxic if it's a Toxic starter for some reason. Well, I doubt it. I feel he's gonna play fully offensive, especially against my team, because my team is sorta, fat and slow, while his team is very fast and powerful. And this is why I'm really scared of Choice Banded Crobat, because it just comes in and speeds most of my guys and just goes from there basically. But I'm gonna have a plan for that one. Anyways, Mega Man Electric. I'm gonna use red card Dragalge. That's right. Now you may actually think, what? Like, why would you do that? But there is a reason why. Look at his team right now. We got Sylveon, Infernape, Empoleon, Celebi, Crobat. Generally, Dragalge's Dracometer combination with Sludge Bomb. I'm using Sludge Bomb for 30% poison chance instead of Sludge Wave. I mean, 5% more power. I just don't feel it's really worth it. I feel like 30% is much greater when you actually add up the poison that may just happen. And looking at his team with a little bit of luck, we just may force him into something that he doesn't want to come in on a Dracometer or a Sludge Bomb. Again, as I mentioned, red card, if Mega Man Electric against Dragalge happen, he knows he can outspeed Minoru. Even a Scarf, Modest Nature, Dragalge doesn't outspeed like a 0 EV speed Mega Man Electric especially. That is how slow Dragalge is. I believe even a Mega Man Electric Standard Man Electric outspeeds Dragalge, which speaks on its own. Dragalge does have the bulk, but it just doesn't have speed. So I'm not going to be using Scarf on that whatsoever. But here's where it changes. If he Volt switches, which he probably will, that means that instead of him having the full control of switching into whatever he wants to switch to take my incoming move, like an Empoleon, for example, take the Dracometer, or a Sylveon to take something and then force me to overthink and switch out to something else, to play that kind of mind games, that can be it. But here's a thing, with red card, being that I'm slower, it will force him out into something else, and basically depending on how many Pokemon he still got left, especially if I can get rid of Empoleon or Sylveon core, Dragalge will hit something that he doesn't want to get hit by. And that is the one turn I need. I need to break one of his Pokemons, because every single Pokemon has got coverage to a certain extent. Sylveon doesn't even need coverage. All it needs is a freaking Specs Hyper Voice and just go from there, basically. Look at my team. Even a Dragalge gets two-shotted. I would not be surprised if a Modest Assault Vest still gets two-shotted. That's how strong Sylveon is. So I'm not playing any games with that. I got enough speed on Dragalge to outspeed an 8 EV Sylveon. Basically a Sylveon that's max HP and, well, basically near max HP, max attack, modest nature, but still running, basically running maybe 4 EVs in speed, or 8, I would guess, just in case. But basically I got enough to outspeed such threat. That's what it means, but it's still modest nature. And I'll put a lot of EVs, but again, speed creep is very important. I've played against Gabe, and it basically won me the match. If that Azumarill would have not been outspeeded there right then stuff could have gone terrible for me. So yeah, that speed creep was very important, and we're gonna see how important it's gonna be in this battle. Now, Infernape again, I'm not playing any speed with this one. You cannot outspeed an Infernape outside of Keldeo running max speed, which is going to be speed. I am not too sure if he's going to be playing that, because I believe I can take anything from the likes of Infernape outside of maybe something incredibly strong, super powerful, like super effective move with the help of Life Orb. But again, I think Keldeo does still have some standard bulk to it to take at least one move from it and retaliate without too much Stealth Rock damage involved. Then stuff can definitely change up. Now I'm gonna use Keldeo with the berry that weakens flying types. Now there's a particular reason why. Crobat, if he uses a Crobat, now Choice Banded Crobat is still a threat. I'm not too sure, I haven't done the calcs yet. I'm not too sure if I can take a Choice Banded Braybird, but I'm at least gonna get the idea of what kind of set he's running. But I can definitely take a normal one. And here is a thing, because I can take a normal one. Recall damage should put him down to a range where Hydro Pump should destroy him. Even if he's a semi-defensive one with some HP investment, it should still destroy him. Or at least this is what I'm hoping for. I still need to do calcs, but I'm still pretty sure Hydro Pump with Keldeo, it's very powerful. And Crobat, after recall, is not gonna be living that, I don't think. Now U-turn, I resist. If he does that, that's fine. I'm still gonna have my berry, and eventually he will need to Braybird, and that is the time I want to destroy him. Braybird, basically Crobat is a problem for Dragalge, and need my Dragalge is reasonable amount of health for that Mega Man Electric. It's a perfect Pokemon, especially if he's running Hidden Power, Grass over Ice. which means Dragouge can easily come in and pretty much take whatever this Pokemon has to offer incredibly well. I'm kind of scared of the Charge Beam set now that I think about it, just because that last move, I mean, my Dragouge completely walls that. If he's running Hidden Power Grass, my Dragonite would have even become a threat, but the Dragouge is different because it resists everything Mega Man actually has to offer after that. Hidden Power Ground could also be it, but I think Hidden Power Grass would probably make much more sense because I got Gastrodon and even Keldeo, you know, in case. Crocodile, not to mention, Piloswine, and that's basically what Hidden Power Grass would have definitely covered in case I do make a switch, or, you know, in case stuff like that happen. But we look at stuff right now. I got Arcanine. I'm gonna put enough speed towards speed, max speed Sylveon in case he's running Timid Nature, offensive Sylveon, you know, to not play too much craziness. I'm putting enough EVs towards speed, Timid Nature Sylveon. I'm scared of the Scarf one, to be honest with you guys. I know it sounds crazy, but it's because of the Keldeo, honestly. But then again, Keldeo cannot really do much against Sylveon one-on-one. But still, it would definitely took me by surprise at some point, like a Crocodile with Scarf, but Sylveon would, basically Crocodile cannot really touch Sylveon, so I gotta get rid of that Sylveon very, very early into the battle. Arcanine is gonna have Iron Head for no recall, basically. Sometimes you just don't want any recall going on, and I think it should do like 70%, 80% to a Sylveon, depending on the EV spread, which is great. Plus, chance to flinch is still there, so Sylveon is not gonna like that. Plus, I know I can take a Hyper Voice from it, not including Stealth Rock damage in between. Now, I think Arcanine is gonna be Choice Banded, as I mentioned, Adamant Nature, enough speed towards speed, a Sylveon. I'm not gonna have enough speed towards speed, a max speed, a Lantern. I'm not gonna go that far, I don't think. I'm just gonna put a little bit speed into speed, EVs into speed, and then the rest into other stats and kind of cover it from there. We're gonna go with that. Arcanine, Flare Blitz, basically Iron Head, Close Combat, as well as one more move. Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Iron Head, and one more move that's very important on Arcanine. I cannot seem to remember right now, which is Extreme Speed. Of course, Extreme Speed +2 is very important because he's got that Infernape, and Infernape is known for using basically Mach Punch, but Mach Punch is +1, while my Arcanine is easily gonna get outsped by Infernape, but +2 will outspeed it. And with Band, I mean, look at his team. He's got speed, but some of these Pokemon aren't all that bulky, like Zoroark, for example, which I think he will use. Extreme Speed will still do solid damage, and definitely two-shot a Zoroark on the switch. Or, you know, if I do expect it and just go for the Extreme Speed, depending on the damage Zoroark took, may just take him out, you know. I'm kind of scared of the Gengar at the same time, but at the same time I don't think he's gonna use it because I got Croc. I can Pursuit, use him, you know, with the Scarf, and that which is pretty much spell destruction to Gengar, not to mention Meloetta, which he may just expect, and that's why I think he's gonna use Zoroark over Gengar for that Meloetta, if anything. That would have been a great disguise to handle Meloetta. If I'm not running a fighting one. Plus, I'm not going to be using that in this battle. I'm not going to use Meloetta. I don't think Meloetta is going to do me much because he's got Empoleon, he's got Infinite, he's got just the speed and the juice to reach out. Sylveon does possess the bulk. I don't think I'm not gonna be one-shotting anything, so I'm not gonna be playing with Meloetta. And I'm not gonna use Trick Room because it's my only Trick Roomer, and looking at his team, I cannot rely on one Trick Roomer. I already explained why. Infinite can even fake out, it can slow down my Trick Room, and I would probably like manage to put one Trick Room up, but I doubt he's gonna allow me to put up the second one, and that is what I think would probably be horrible for me. So I'm not playing with Trick Room whatsoever with this one. Go back to Keldeo. I'm using Hidden Power Bug for Celebi because I'm fully certain he's going to use it. And again, as I mentioned, I'm not using Gastrodon for Celebi because Celebi is such an easy switch to it. Natural Cure, cures for poison. It can take anything from Gastrodon for days, and this is the problem. I don't got anything for Celebi switch because Celebi can go physical, it can go special, it's got the diversity, and I just don't like switching onto Celebi. So Gastro would basically bait Celebi in, and I would have need to make over predictions with double switches, but this is what I'm not going to be playing with, you know. So I'm not using 4-time weakness outside of Dragonite and Ice. That is the only Pokemon I will use. So going to Dragonite. I'm using Dragonite for Mega Man Electric, special attackers with, of course, weakness policy. It's not going to be all that special, but it's going to have Thunder Wave over Dragon Dance because I don't think he's going to allow me to Dragon Dance any day soon. Plus Intimidate would kind of screw me over eventually. But I do have weakness policy T-Wave, as well as Iron Head, Earthquake, and well, basically Iron Head, Earthquake, T-Wave, as well as Dragon Claw, I believe. So you know, Earthquake for Empoleon, for Infernape, Sylveon, Iron Head, best option basically. Earthquake doesn't come close, and Dragon Claw is basically immune to it, so may as well forget about that. Max attack, I believe I'm gonna use Adamant because I'm not using Dragon Dance, so I'm not gonna be outspeed Manectric after one Dragon Dance. May as well just go with Adamant after that, and just put T-Wave onto there in case he doesn't use a Lantern. Plus I can Earthquake a Lantern in case he does use it, and his team is very fast, so Celebi is like the only Pokemon that can keep on coming in. Just wanted to take a T-Wave, and Sylveon, especially if he's got like Hubel to kind of support, but then again Celebi can run Hubel if I'm not mistaken, so that's also an option of running a supporting Celebi or an offensive one. I gotta consider all of these options, but I think that I thought about using mixed Dragonite, but then I was like, no, Iron Head, Sylveon is way too big of a threat because 3 of my Pokemon will be weak to Sylveon, but all of these 3 Pokemon outside of, well, 2 Pokemon that are weak to Sylveon can hit it and outspeed it one-on-one. They cannot switch in, but they can definitely hit it and outspeed it, and that is of course my Dragonite as well as my well, actually, yeah, Crocodile cannot really hit it all that hard, you know, only with Earthquake, but Arcanine can hit it, Dragouge can hit it, Keldeo is gonna suffer facing it. Arcanine is still choice banded, so he can definitely dealt with it. I think I'm prepared to a certain extent. Mega Scizor, no question about it. Bullet Punch may fail, will probably fail if it's max HP investment, but if any prior damage happens, that will not be the case. So basically, Keldeo Hidden Power Buck for Celebi, Hydro Pump, Sacred Sword, as well as Scald, just in case I don't want to be reaching out with Hydro Pump too much. It's not going to be Scarf, it's not going to be Assault Vest, as I mentioned. Berry to weaken flying types for that Crobat in case that happens. I don't want to be playing with that. Not using a defensive Arcanine to stop Crobat, plus Crobat can easily keep on U-turning, and that is something I don't generally like, because this team is so, it's powerful, it's fast, and it can easily like Volt-turn on me. Especially with Crobat and Celebi, and then Lantern does have Volt Switch, and Mega Man Electric does have Volt Switch. So I gotta think about this. Like, I don't think I'm gonna have any time to switch anything out. I think I will need to play offense with offense. If you think I've been playing offense the previous battle, this one is a whole new scale for me. I need all the strength I can get with this one. No playing games with this one. I cannot stall that team. It's too diverse. It will break my walls, and it will go from there. And I cannot afford to lose a single Pokemon in this one. I feel like it's gonna be close, just because his team, how it's made against my team. Yeah, not running Scarf on Keldeo means that Mega Man Electric will outspeed me. Not running Assault Vest means I cannot take a T-Bolt. But again, Crobat is such a threat that I just think I need. Maybe I should run Scarf set Keldeo, but then I'm gonna use another Scarfer which can handle Mega Man Electric in case, you know, I'm not risking Hydro Pump missing, and that's gonna be Crocodile. Now I'm gonna use Intimidate, Stealth Rock Crocodile. You may actually think that's crazy, but the reason is he's a skillful player, and if anything, I think it's gonna throw him off using Intimidate Stealth Rock Pokemon, because Intimidate basically spells Stealth Rock on Crocodile, right? And no matter the bulk, it just still spells Stealth Rock Crocodile, but he may not see that coming, and afterwards he may not think I'm a Scarf, and that is where it may actually be a great Pokemon against the things like Infernape without Mach Punch. Plus I may take 1 after Intimidate if he does play that game, or maybe he's not gonna realize I'm Scarf and not even go that far. Empoleon easily outspeeded no matter what. Zora can get outspeeded after that, that is great. A Lantern definitely outspeeded no matter what. Explout, if he decides to use that, I can still outspeed that. I don't think he's gonna use Explout, you know, because I generally don't think Gengar or Explout, those are the 2 Pokemon I don't think he's gonna use. For the rest, I have a I got that feel he will use it, so I gotta get prepared for those. Yeah, basically Crocodile, Earthquake, Knockoff, Stone Edge for Crobat just in case. I can also speed, plus Crobat can run Taunt, and I can put up the rocks before he taunts me. In case he's gonna play that game, you know, he can even run Defog, let's be serious, but I think he's gonna want to put up the rocks. And I don't want to allow him to like taunt in case he's like a bulky Crobat to a certain extent. So you know, I don't want to be playing that game. That is my Crocodile. I'm not using Pilot Swan for this one. Again, too many special attackers. Electrode, I may just forget it. Electrode, I thought it's something about the Electrode. What does have immunity? Like, people always have this way surrounded completely. Everybody expects it, but Electrode has been a little bit of an edge for me in using. I have come to realize that Gastrodon, Amoonguss, as well as Electrode have been drawbacks to my previous battles, if anything. You know, using offense, especially with this team, which is weird because it's sort of fat and really bulky, but I think I can take a move and then retaliate still pretty strongly, and that is all I need. I need to retaliate. While others have offense, some of them lack defense, and that is where speed lack may actually overcome the lack of speed, basically the speed you reach against, but because they got that speed, they just don't have the bulk. So sometimes bulk can overcome speed if it's not plain stall, and that is what I'm not going to be playing for this upcoming battle. Of course, Mega Scizor, I'm going to use agility on this one. I've been debating Air Ace, or should I go with I've been debating Air Ace or Bug Bite, but then I've come to realize, well, Celebi, you know, Bug Bite destroys, especially a defensive Celebi if he runs, while Ace will probably fail short, probably like 2-shot, and even a non-invested Celebi, which is insane. And the only reason how to run Aero Ace is for Infernape, but again, Infernape is really frail, so I'm just gonna do some prior damage to it, and then Scizor may actually pull through to a certain extent. I've been thinking Iron Head, you know, for that speed. Once you reach agility, Iron Head can flinch, but then I was like, no, Bullet Punch is gonna do way more, especially against Zoroark, in case I don't got that agility up. That may actually pull him through, and yeah, that's something I should definitely consider over 10 more base power and the flinching chances. So 70 base attack is gonna go over 80, and I think that's gonna be way better, plus Technician, you know, boost, and I think that's already a reason enough. Then we're gonna have superpower for Empoleon. I believe does rank to special defensive, does around 90% if I'm not mistaken, and that is way more than I want. Like, serious, that is some serious damage. I need my rocks up. Hope I'm gonna have the chance. That is a very offensively based team if he does decide to play offensive. Agility Empoleon for duration 1 with Subpetaya. My god, am I scared of that one. Guys, you don't even know how powerful that thing is. It's been back in the, some of the old players will know when I say this. Back in the days, Subpetaya agility Empoleon was the danger. It was danger to no extent, and I'm really scared of that set. But again, if it's not running Stealth Rocks, then Infernape would need to run Stealth Rocks, or you know, or Lantern would have been a feign. But again, I'm just talking about Mega Scizor right now. Mega Scizor would be running that. What else should I cover? As I said, Dragalge, red card. If something hits me, it's gonna be throwing him into something random, and that is where Draco Meteor adaptability mod is boosted, will reach out and eat something absolutely live. Or Sludge Bomb, depending on what kind of Pokemon he's got left, still gonna be taking damage. And you know, when it's outside of a very skillful player's control, that is what I like. And I think like his team sort of appreciates one of those two moves. I got T-Bolt for Empoleon, I believe. Even a special defensive one is gonna struggle, I believe. It's still a decent free shot, if I'm not mistaken. I'm guessing should be a free shot. And yeah, we're gonna play with that. T-Bolt again, Earth Power, I don't want to go with that because T-Bolt can at least hit a Crobat on the switch, while Earth Power, you know, it's immune, and I don't want to be playing with that game. I think coverage wise it's much better, while I don't have anything for Lantern because again, you know, Earth Power would not really hit Lantern, and Lantern cannot really hit me all that much outside of Hidden Power Ground, so Dragalge doesn't really care about that too much. But Dragalge is going to be main winning condition for this battle. Looking at his team, still scared of Celebi using Psychic there, and you know, Infernape I don't want to take, even while I resist. Infernape I believe does have moves. I believe it learns Earthquake, and that is the one turn. That's one move I don't want to take. Explout is way too strong with Specs. He can run Specs on that, and that is just like a Sylveon, if not well, not, well, yeah, Boom Burst, it's so strong, but Sylveon does have that fairy, which adds up. And Dragonite is gonna have, did I talk about Dragonite? Yes, I did, right? So I'll basically cover, I'm expecting Sylveon, Infernape, Empoleon, Celebi, Crobat, Zoroark, Lantern, and Mega Man Electric. The two Pokemon that I mentioned will definitely not be used, but those are the Pokemon I'm expecting, and I'm guessing from his perspective, I'm guessing he's gonna expect me to use Arcanine, Dragonite, most definitely, Gastrodon to a certain extent, but then Celebi kind of screams, don't use Gastrodon, don't use Gastrodon. You know, Celebi is such an easy check. It's not even funny, so basically I may as well forget it outside of like a hidden power bug. But again, I just don't got the strength, I just don't got the bulk after that. I would have need to run like Modest Nature, but again, Celebi can just recover and take a move, so I'm probably just gonna run on Keldeo. Plus Keldeo is much faster, it can speed tie with Infernape, it can handle Empoleon much better, and Zoroark it can outspeed also, so I think these are the Pokemon that may just super fast hit my Gastrodon, so I'm not playing with that. And I'm expecting him Dragalge. I think he's gonna expect Dragalge because basically Mega Man Electric is a feint, so he may not even use Mega Man Electric just because of Dragalge, to be honest. Dragalge just walls it if he's not running Hidden Power, Ground, or Ice. I don't think like Man Electric can do anything to it, looking at it. What can it do? Can it learn Extra Sensory? I cannot seem to say right now. It may, but I don't think it can hit me all that much. And especially if I'm a Assault Vest set, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use Red Card again for the reasons I mentioned. Meloetta, I think he may expect because Trick Room, and he kind of got destroyed last time. Well, he didn't get destroyed, it was a very close score, but it was the Trick Room that cost him, and he may actually expect it again. So Zoroark may be the one. Crocodile again, I think he's gonna expect maybe even Palne. I don't think he's gonna expect the Stealth Rocker. So I think he's gonna expect Crocodile because the Celebi. But then Electros depends. It really depends. It's really hard for me to explain which Pokemon he's gonna expect. I know he's gonna expect Mega Scizor because again, to a certain extent, I guess we could say it's the Gastrodon that I'm kind of struggling right now to think if he's gonna expect it. But looking at his team, I know which one to expect, I know which one to get prepared for. Sylveon is the biggest threat on his team, no doubt about that. After that we get Infernape, Mega Man Electric, that's a threat, but Sylveon is without a doubt the most problematic Pokemon. So I'm getting ready for Sylveon in particular. If he's not going to use it, then I would kind of be in relief no matter what, because even after me gonna get truly overdone with Sylveon, sort of, not really checks, but basically coming in safely and handling it. If he's not gonna use it, I will still have enough movesets to cover all the rest of the Pokemon, so I'm not too afraid of that. Plus I believe a Choice Band Close Combat can still handle Lantern, while it does like 90% to Empoleon, if I'm not mistaken, coming down from Arcanine. So that is basically my team analogy. Looking at his team, there can be sub setup, especially with Sylveon, and that is the one thing I'm super scared of. I'm not even kidding, especially with my slow Pokemons. Sub setup would be terrible, but we're gonna go all out offense on Sylveon. We're not gonna allow Sylveon to do any shenanigans whatsoever. I cannot allow that. So we go full offense, lack of speed, but we're still gonna have defense, and there is where it matters, I guess, sometimes. So we're gonna go type wise against full out offense, which I'm kind of expecting he is gonna use with the combination of Celebi, which can still be offensive if all I know is Celebi is incredibly diverse Pokemon to a certain extent, so I gotta watch out for that one. But that's gonna be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are looking forward to the upcoming bell. I hope this kind of explained the ideas behind my movesets that I will go for, and kind of go from there basically. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Go check out the bell when it's coming out, and I'll also go check out my opponent for this upcoming bell. Yeah. Anyways, guys, take care. Peace.